Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in with Pastor Tim and Rachel here. What are we calling this? Areas?
Volunteer opportunities.
Volunteer opportunity. So you are probably watching this video because you got an email. And let's just set the backdrop for a moment. First Sunday of October of 2023, we had 40 people. We had 40 people at Living Hope. Okay. First week of October 2024, we had, do you remember?
60.
I think it was 60, somewhere in there. And then this year, this was yesterday, first week of October 2025, we had 82. So we went from 40 to 60 to 82. So on our way home yesterday, we're talking about like, hey, how did we have so many people? We did have first-time guests. We've had some return guests. But what did you tell me? You felt like everybody just kind of like showed up on the same day?
Yeah, most people were there on the same day.
Yeah, which does crazy things. And honestly, we say that, but not everybody was really there. We still counted like another 13 to 15 like regulars, semi-regulars who, they're out of town or this or that. And that's before most of our snowbirds get back, which is probably like another 15 to 17 people. So like you start adding this up and it's like, oh, wow, okay. And so we've kind of had an influx of people. We might have another influx over the next month or two. And if this is where we're at the beginning of October, where are we going to be at come January, February, March? And so the blessing is this. I've had more than one person express interest in, hey, we might be interested in doing some things, but they need direction. They kind of like, where do we go? What are our choices? So we want to be able to hear from you. Where's your heart at? Where are some of the areas of ministry you might be interested in serving in? So you're getting a survey with a list. You give us your first and last name, and then there's like a checklist. And we want to briefly go over just a brief explanation of what some of these are. Now, the reason for this, it's a little bit difficult. Here's why. Some of these are existing areas. Some of these are areas we could potentially see a need for, even though we don't have them yet. And then just depending on the circumstances, some of these could sort of come and go. Some of them we have an immediate opening for. Some of them we've got all the volunteers we need. Some of them there might be some additional requirements that are that could be just a little bit more sensitive, but we'll get to those. Okay, so let's just go down the list and see here. First one is what?
Prayer team. Every week before church, some people get together just to pray for the service. 9:30.
9:30 is when they meet. That room in the back, like you first walk in, 9:30, we've got a group of people who meet and pray. You don't have to pray out loud. You can. I've sat in there before. You're looking anywhere between 2 and 5 people. Just bathe the service in prayer. Another component to our prayer team, the connection cards that y'all fill out on the back when prayer requests come in. We have a group of volunteers that we send those prayer requests to via email. And that way, if you're not able or you're not interested in meeting together on Sundays to pray, you can just help pray for those requests that come in on your own time throughout the week. Plus, I think Rodney is still meeting on Wednesday nights where they have a time of prayer too. And so anyways, we can send you some options with that. The next one being what?
Sunday morning setup. That's just, we have to set up the building every week. And so we need a lot of people to help with that.
Yeah, and honestly, our current team is phenomenal. They really are. We've really got it down to a science of coming in, just knocking it out in a hurry. However, every now and then we run into this person's going to be out of town and this person's going to be late and this person's going to be out of town. And it's like, oh man, you can feel that we can feel that we're shorthanded. And so perhaps even if you're not able to be there every Sunday, being on backup, or there are some things that we would like to be doing and like to be setting up. We just haven't tipped our hand what those things are yet because we don't want to stretch our current volunteers too thin. If we had more people, we could be doing more. Okay, so something to think about there. What's the next one on our list here?
Coffee corner.
Coffee corner.
Coffee corner.
Coffee corner. You need some coffee, right? No. So we've got the coffee table set up in the back. Now I know this one seems like pretty self-explanatory, and it is. However, this ministry really isn't about, we serve coffee, but it's not really about the coffee itself. Can you kind of expand on that a bit?
Well, it's more about just fellowship, just, walk
hospitality.
up, grab a cup of coffee and chat with people. And, the ones who are serving coffee can, it's a way to serve others and
get to know other
greet
people.
them in the morning.
Yeah. So you think about, you only get one chance to make a first impression. It's part of a first impression, really, just having a smile. I don't care if you like coffee or not. We need just smiling faces, friendly people to interact, get everybody kind of warmed up, meet new people. It's just part of the front lines there, okay? And then our tech team, again, we got a great tech team. Might have a couple of openings here and there, depending on schedules, if people are out of town. Maybe you have a certain expertise of something we don't know about yet, or you can diagnose, or you're very familiar with projection or cabling or sound or just different ways of doing things, or you want to learn about some of those. Might be able to get a rotation going, give some people a break. We'll see how it is. Music and worship.
If there's anybody out there who can play instruments or sing.
I wish. Yeah, maybe there's, you've got some sort of ability or passion. The worship ministry, because it's so highly visible, our focus is a little bit more narrow on some of the expectations and the direction that we take it in. But that doesn't mean that there's not a potential spot. It's just the nature of it. If that's something that you potentially might want to be interested in, we can never make guarantees, but it helps kind of get our minds turning a little bit, and you never know where it goes. Okay, children's ministry. We never need volunteers for our children's ministry.
We definitely need more teachers in our children's ministry. We just have a few, and they're in there a lot, and it's hard to miss the service all the time. Our kids are great. They're fun to be with, but we want our workers to be able to also sit in the service.
Right. So if we get enough, we can have enough of a rotation where the frequency is less.
Right.
And they don't have to begin as a teacher.
That's true.
Right? And if you don't like kids, don't sign up for this. Okay? We want you to love kids. Be prepared to pass a background check. If you just start off as a helper, that's great. Yeah. And then our next one is student ministry. This one's still relatively new and developing. Our children age out of our kids ministry once they've completed 5th grade. And so once they are on their way into 6th grade, we try to pull them out of the kids ministry and start pushing them into our student ministry for grades 6 through 12. Now, up until now, while we haven't had a lot of events, we've been hosting them, we've been doing it. We're excited. It kind of takes me back to my youth ministry days. But we could use just some extra set of hands and hearts, and just get to know some of our students. And when we do have events, if we have a Bible study over here, just come on out and support it. So yeah. And then what do we have next here?
Photography and videography.
Photography and video. So this is like one of those self-managed ministries. So you see the countdown clock on Sunday. Some of you are sitting there just kind of like waiting, and you see those video clips coming by, or you might go on our social media page and you see still photos on there. We can put those things together. The part that we struggle with is getting the content initially. We want to be able to update the countdown video more often than what we do. We want to be able to make more social media posts, but up until now, it's me and my cell phone, and I see something, I'm like, oh. On Sundays, I got a lot of other things on my mind and things that I could be doing. So if you're like, hey, I love doing stuff like that. We simply just need photos and videos of people. They're drinking their coffee, they're laughing, they're setting up, they're doing ministry, they're walking into the parking lot. We just need the action captured, and then you can send it over to me and we can take it from there. Self-managed ministry, pretty easy. Men's scripture reading. Again, we're on a rotation. It's an area, we've got so many different areas for women to serve, which is great. This one we like to have exclusively for men. And so if you want to be put on the schedule, you can pick out the reading yourself, or we can help you with it. You get up there, you don't need to talk outside of the scripture. You just get up there. You don't need to preach. You don't need to tell a story. You don't need to, do a funny dance. We just need you to get up there, read the scripture, pray, sit down. If you're not already on it, Dan heads that up. We can point you in the right direction. Greeters, welcoming, and seating. You want to take this one?
Yeah, so sometimes people come in late or towards time to start the service and there's no seats left, or they have a hard time finding a seat, and we need people that are willing and have their eyes watchful to just know what seats are available, to be able to point them in the right direction.
Yeah, there's really a lot wrapped up into this one. So we say greeters. Some of you are already great at this. We could organize that a little bit better, but we also need people to help with seating. So during the summer, this isn't such a big deal. But again, if we're already above 80 early into October, that number is likely to increase. Now, maybe it won't, but if it does, what ends up happening, we've talked about the 80-20 rule. Once the room has 80% of the seats occupied, the room feels full. And so somebody coming in at 10 o'clock or 10:05, and especially when everybody's standing, if we've got a song going, it's difficult to see where there are empty seats. So for this role, you'll need to be a little more assertive. Don't be afraid to ask people, hey, can you scoot down 2 seats so that we can get 4 seats together? Do you mind moving up a row or moving back a row? You need to be proactive, have your eyes and ears on, hey, look how full these seats are already. It's 9:58. You look out into the parking lot and there's still cars coming in. You need to be ahead of the game of, hey, where do we keep the extra chairs? Where are we going to put these at? To be able to accommodate it and let people have a great experience. Are you playing footsies with me? Sorry. You can. You're allowed. All right. Building grounds, cleaning, special projects. So this one's a little bit, has an interesting dynamic because we rent the building. It's not ours, but we also want to play a role. That we don't want to just pay rent and then, here, y'all figure it out. We want to do our part. Can you explain what that looks like a bit?
Sometimes, we might come in on a Sunday morning and some things might need touched up a little bit. So the floor needs swept or whatever. Sometimes we might have a Saturday where, let's take a few hours and
do a deep clean.
Do a clean on the building.
Trash in the parking lot. Perhaps there's just projects around the clubhouse, whether inside or outside. Whether it's touch-up painting or ceiling tiles or landscape. I don't know, just whatever comes up. This is more like on an as-needed basis. It's not every single week. Next one.
Widows care. We like to take care of our widows. So if they, need leaves raked or some yard work done, or
keeping tabs on them, checking in,
making sure they're okay.
Encouragement, phone calls, take them out. Our widows are very humble. What I mean by that is I ask them all the time, or I honestly probably not as much as I could, of, hey, what can we do to help? And I know that there are things that they would appreciate help with, but they always tell me, oh no, I'm fine. We need somebody who's better at it than I am to kind of pull these things out and maybe, kind of be on the lookout for things that we could just practically help them with. Let them know that they're loved, that they're are looked out for and taken care of. Bible study hosting. Again, this isn't week in, week out. I think we're set for this one. We've got Dan and Cricket are teaching and they're hosting. Carl and Irene are hosting for Rodney's study. Tim and Shella are hosting for the ladies' study. But you never know what comes up. Just availability. We were hoping that with the Del Webb study that somebody perhaps in Ridgewood Lakes or close to it would be able to open up their home. I mean, Dan and Cricket are great about doing both, but we don't want to put all the burden on one person. So if you might be interested in opening your home for a Bible study, let us know, okay? And then safety and security. It's one of those where we have to say less than more about this, and unfortunately, it's the real world that we live in. But if you feel like, hey, I know something regarding to safety and security that you may not know about, please let me know about that. And then parking team is I've got on here toward this is one of those where, again, it depends on the season, it depends on the Sunday. Right now we don't have a parking team. It's kind of a free-for-all out there. Y'all can figure it out. Like, that's the way that it's been. We try to help shape it, remind people as we come into the winter season. Don't block the grass. Don't pull up into a parking spot when you could pull forward. We need all of that parking. However, again, going back to what our attendance was yesterday, somebody came to me after church and was like, there was a ton of cars out there. Some of them were parked triple deep. If we start pushing 80, 90 to 100, going into triple digits over the next few months, we might need some Sundays where we've got a couple of people in the parking lot who are proactively organizing, hey, don't block, park here, and kind of get an overview develop a system of what's the best way to get people in and out, as well as being courteous just to the neighborhood that we live in if people want to come and use the pool. All right. Any other thoughts? My stomach's growling. Is lunch ready yet? It's 1 o'clock already. Oh my word. Hey, if you got any questions, comments, feedback, concerns, don't be afraid to send me an email. If you are currently serving or you're not serving yet, if we could have like a form per person that you want to continue doing that, or expand a little bit, whatever it is, it just helps us be able to start pairing people and putting them in the right direction, seeing where we're at, what we have a heart for, needs, openings. Love y'all. Some of our areas of volunteerism.
Some of our
communities. There you go. All right, let's try it again. Hey, Pat.
You Pastor too.
Why can we never get this right the first time?